your girl Keemah.G, and I'm sitting down here with Chantal, a very close friend of the family. Our families are very close. Our aunts, they together all the time. But I've known Chantal. I've known you my whole life. I'm younger
Yes.
than you, so you've known me my whole life. I have asked you to come today because I believe when I think of faith, you're one of the people that come to my mind. There's a few other people, but your story and who you are and how I known you all these years, you come to me when it reminds me of faith. When my faith is wavered, I don't think I've ever told you this. When my faith is wavered, there's certain people that I think of, and I'm just like, okay, like let's get on this. Um, these this podcast is about the journey, about self development, about growing, about evolving. And my first question to you is that I want to introduce you though, because I didn't introduce you. So Chantal, she's a businesswoman. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a sister. She's a great friend. She's a niece. She is big in her church and her community, and she's a God-fearing woman.
And I'm a daughter.
And you're a daughter.
A
Yes,
daughter,
that's true.
sandwich generation. So I've got children on one side, parents on another. Let me tell you, it's
She's a
real.
daughter, and she belonged to very, very great grandparents that were amazing.
Absolutely.
So when you think of the word faith, because I wrote these down, because I'm not going to be second guess. There's no fakeness of it. We're going to keep it real.
No
Because I had
problem.
questions for Chantal, because I really want you to
No
be clear.
problem. No problem. Am I supposed to look anywhere specifically? So,
Yeah, you look there, I look there, this looks at all of us. So when you think of the word faith, what does it mean to you?
wow. And so I can't believe you're asking that question. When I saw it, I was really like wowed because it was not even a full year ago that I had taken stickers on my wall and put the word faith on there. I've always had them there for a very long time. Like if you come to my house, it's like a sticker board wall.
I got this posted from you too. If you look at my kitchen.
So one of them says, but when I was doing it this time, I got gold stickers and I heard the voice of God say to me, you need to complete the sentence. I was like, complete the sentence? He's like, yeah, faith in God. So then now it says faith in God because is it faith in circumstance, faith in people, faith in situation, faith in how I feel? And I realized, no, it's faith in God.
Yeah.
That is a full sentence. So when we say have faith in what? The people around you, your family, your friends, the system, the world? Or is it truly meaning faith in Him?
Yeah.
And this is what I think of when I think of faith. It's the full sentence.
Okay. So when you think of faith, faith for you means truly giving your all to God with no doubt.
No, absolutely not. I have doubts all the time. I laugh because I don't want to go ahead of any of the questions, but when I think of faith, it's an understanding that when I've given my faith in God, it's I have to first know His character.
Okay.
Because when you have faith in something, like if I have faith in you, it's because I trust you, you've welcomed me to your home, you've been a part of my life. We have a relationship or a history. There's something. So having faith in God means I have to know this person or this being that I want to have faith in. And so when I think of having faith, it's truly saying, okay, well, who is He? What has He done? And oftentimes I've done meetings with women and talked to them about faith. And I've said, have you ever done a resume? Have you ever created a resume of all He's done? And not just in your life, what you've read in the Bible, because He never changes. But apart from that, then what has He done in your life? And so that for me allows me to say, okay, no, I got faith in someone I can trust, someone who's never failed me. Wow, if He's did it for her, why wouldn't He do it for me? If He brought them through the Red Sea, what won't He part for me? So it's truly getting to know who He is at His core.
And who introduced you to that faith? Like,
wow. It's interesting because I've always grown up in church. And that faith comes from my family. My grandmother, my grandfather, my mother, my parents. My father sang in a choir. My mother brought us to church, even if it was 3 times a week and people would criticize and talk about it. And I was just like, I've constantly said to her, even on platforms or stages, Mom, I thank you. I thank you so much because even when we didn't understand it, you were giving us something that could ultimately change our lives forever and give us the best of the best. We all talk about giving our children the best. If you're going to give them the best, you want to give them something that never changes, something that they can always never have to look left or right or lose trust in, and it's faith. And so I really give my family I thank my family for that. And then church, being in a church atmosphere, meeting different people, constantly seeing, their stories, your grandmother, my grandmother, how they came to this country and they had to build a life here. And they always leaned on God.
Faith, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. Granny was always just like, pray, Keemah, just pray. You have to trust God. I'm like, oh my God. Because there was a point of time, I keep it real with people. I did not believe in God. I know people are just like, what? I'm like, yeah, I did not believe. I'm like, listen, we're all going to do this, da, 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 get over this. And that's how I felt. But I remember there was one time, it was somebody had passed away in LaSalle, and I think it was Dave Lockhart. And I just figured his transformation going back to God kind of inspired me. And then after I said, let me just go see what this is all about. Let me give it another shot. And from then, I've learned your story. I've heard other people's story. And I was just like, okay, like if God pulled you through them, like maybe I should trust them. And don't get me wrong, it's been a 10-year journey, a very long, long journey of me like wavering. But my faith wavers that's okay. But he could handle that.
You know what? I want one thing. God can handle our questions. He can handle our doubts.
Yeah.
He can handle everything. So that idea of, well, he knows before you even think it, how you're thinking.
Yeah.
And he has a plan for you. So he'll make sure he aligns you with the right people at the right timing to see the right thing and to know if he's after you always.
Yeah.
He's not a God that we have to constantly seek out. He's also seeking back to us.
Yeah.
And so if you want to see him, he's there. It's just you have to
He's
be
waiting
willing.
on us.
Yeah, there
He's
you
like,
go.
"Come
There
on,
you go. He's
girl."
like, exactly. I
Can you
hear it all
imagine
the
if he was
time.
Caribbean? You're like, hold yourself, man. Hurry up. So, what was one of the most challenging moments in your life, and how has faith allowed you to get through it?
Wow. Okay. So I know she asked for one, and you can cut me out after.
You can
But I have to give three. There's so many. There's
Okay.
so many. But if I have to give three came to mind because it answers the first part of the question that you asked me, and
Yeah.
it brings me to into today. And so I would say the first time, we all go to church. We just think it's a thing, and it was when my cousin Isaiah died.
Yeah.
He was 2 years old. I carried him out the hospital when he was born. I lived with my aunt to take him to daycare every day. So I saw him all the time. And he passed away through a medical accident or incident at a hospital. And he was 2 years old. And in that moment, like everyone was hurting.
Yeah.
But I saw nobody turn away from God. Like in my core family, the people that I see all the time, that we eat with, no, they could have questioned God on their own, but they still were saying, God, I thank you. They were still in a praise. They had questions and worries and doubts, but we still went to church as a family. I didn't hear anyone say, curse God, and that's it. It's like I just watched my grandparents lean into God, to the church community, and how the community leaned in us. And I realized if we weren't even in the house of God, who would we have turned to for that season? So that would be the first one of me saying, well, if we can handle this, and I see them turn to God, then what else? And then I would say the next faith journey for me was I was 18 or 19, and I remembered having a medical issue with fibroids. But at first, they didn't know it was fibroids. They were saying it's some other thing. So I went in for a surgery. Doctor said, we don't know if we can do this surgery. And he sent me to a specialist. Specialist said, you know what, we're going to induce menopause. At like 18 or 19, I had menopause, hot flashes and the whole 9 yards. And this medication was just like being injected in me for 3 different times.
For the fibroid?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
wow.
wanted to shrink them. So because they said in order to remove them with a laser, they wanted to shrink them. Because where they were, they also said, we're not sure if you'll ever have kids. So at a very young age, someone who loved kids, I raised almost all my cousins, brought them to daycare, offered everybody help. I'm being told now, you may never have kids. And if you do, you should have them very soon. And I was just like, you know what? I know there's a God. I can't say my relationship with him was the best, and I was reading my Bible every day, but I just trusted in who I saw everyone else turn to. When I turned to him, I said, God, I want a child. I want children, but not like this. I'm not rushing to have kids because a doctor tells me it's now or never. And so I just kind of put my head in that situation and said, okay, God, I trust you. And I just went on with life.
Yeah.
But we talk about God, but we all talk about the devil. The devil's also working all the time, double time. And so I remember from that situation, circumstance, I shared that with everybody. I told my mom, this is what the doctor said. And I learned faith because I also learned in that season, separation and isolation.
Yeah.
Because when you share
different things,
everything, You got to be ready to handle what people are going to say back to you.
Yeah.
Because you got your own worries, doubts, and fears, and then others are bringing theirs. It doesn't always help. And I was just in a season where I didn't know what I was going to do. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that season at 18 or 19 prepared me for what was going to come, which you probably would say is my biggest faith test. And so just seeing what happened to me in that bubble, everything went worse medically. There was so many procedures. I watched the system fail at so many levels. The one that we trust, the doctors and tests and all this. I watched so many incidents, accidents, and mistakes occur in my own situation that it taught me so many things: to be bold, to ask questions, not to be afraid by authority. And when I talk about my faith journey, it's something that it grows and evolves.
Yeah.
So by the time, I want to give God all the praise and glory and I thank him, the biggest test for me would be when something happens to your family and someone passes away, the pain is on the outside, on the inside. But when it happens to you and you're ill and you sick, it's almost like a complete disconnection, because the things you trust every day are failing you. Your hands, your feet, your arms. And so I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis maybe my first year in university. I lost my vision in one eye, and I was like, okay. And that's only maybe 3 short years after having the whole other fibroid issue, getting over that. And then being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis was not something light for me.
How old were you?
I was 24.
24.
I was 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 24, and I was about to be an aunt for the first time. So I was so excited. And then that happened, and I didn't want to bring down anybody else's mood. They were all happy to have the first grandbaby of my sister, and actually the second. We have Jade. Jade was the first, and then my sister was going to have a baby. And when that happened to me, I had no one to turn to but God, because I had learned the first time, turn to people, it may be heavier than you can handle. It's the truth. It's the truth. But my father's twin sister had MS. So I watched her struggle. She actually lived with us for a period of time. And by the time she was 40, she ended up going into a nursing home, a residence for over 20 years. And that's where she lived. So when I was diagnosed with MS, it was like, listen, I can't take any other story or turn someone else's story into my story. God, I need to lean into you. But I would say, if I'm answering the question in the right ways, my faith journey with that was so big, because I didn't just get diagnosed with MS at that point. I was in the middle of school. I wanted to finish. And so I did it. I graduated university. I got 2 degrees. And just before graduating, my cousin was murdered outside the school. And I had to finish my last semester going to Concordia, passing the very spot that he died. And he wasn't like just a cousin. He lived with us. We went to school together. And so my faith journey has grown through turmoil, through pain, through heartache. And I saw that no one around you could console you the way that a relationship with God can. It's not going to church that makes your faith grow per se, I would say. It's a part of it, because we're called to gather together and encourage each other. But that's one day a week. What are you doing the other 6 days? What are you doing? And so getting into the word, learning a bit, and living life was all good. But I would say we fast forward 10 years. MS,
I was gonna say,
MS for me was quiet. Nobody knew. I was in the closet with it. Like I could tell.
You were in the closet with it so much that I'm just like, when you told, because I was there that day when you called everybody to the house, and I was just like, what the heck? I'm like, what a powerful night. But no one knew what you were going through.
Nobody knew that for years, because I had the first example of sharing it, and then people saying, my dog's cat had a fibroid and they died. And I was like, I can't. I was like, this is not happening. This is not happening. And this time I'm like, the stories, the doubt and the fears, I said, I have enough of my own. I don't. So I just had my focus. I wanted to finish school. I wanted to get my degree, because from the moment I was diagnosed, I said to myself, if my body can't work, at least my mind will. So that encouraged me to finish school. But then God blessed me with a husband. He blessed me with a daughter. Against all odds, at 19, saying I couldn't have it, I had I don't want to put any babies down. I had the perfect baby. She was gorgeous. She's beautiful. And she was a gift from God. I had no trouble carrying her. The delivery was beautiful. My husband calls it a drive-through delivery. We came and we had her. But then 2 years after her birth, things with MS just got out of control.
Yeah.
And I actually stopped walking. I got very sick. I couldn't move my head. I couldn't move my arms. And I was like, I had to move out of my own focus on me or my pride, my shame, or my doubts,
Yeah.
and have to open up to my family community and say to you guys, I don't know if I'm going to live or die, but this is what I've been going
So
through.
not even your mom knew?
No, I only told her. I told my parents all at different times because the baby, my sister was having the baby, right? So if I get back to that, she was having a baby when I was first diagnosed. I'm like, So I didn't want to ruin that. And then the baby turned 1. I'm like, oh, it's the first birthday. I don't want to tell anybody. I had a reason, right? And then I started trying to protect everyone else.
Yeah.
And then I would say my mother found out maybe about a year or 2 in. I had to tell her because I was on medication, so injections, and I lived at home.
Yeah.
So they had to ship this medication to our house, these big boxes.
West Indian women are always
So
looking in the mail.
Right? And I'm like, okay, this thing, this $1,500 delivery that's coming to the house, I have to make sure someone's there to get it or put it in the fridge. It had to be refrigerated. So I told her. And I also asked her, Mom, I'm not telling anybody. And so she had to walk with that. And I know she has a great relationship with God. So she was able to take it to God. And on the outside, nobody knew. Yeah. So it's funny you asked me about my parents because even my dad, I was trying to protect because of his sister having it. And I didn't want him to worry. So I did tell them, like, they knew, let's say around year 1 or 2, 2-ish. But the rest of the people I didn't share anything with. But I would say I remembered for my mom, when I told her, she was, it's okay, and she kept it in. But when the effects showed 10 years later, the day that I really couldn't walk out of bed, the day I couldn't move was like February 4th, 2017. I never forget because I called her to tell her, Mom, I'm really not doing well.
Yeah.
And I sent her a text, actually, Mom, I'm not really doing well, so I don't think I'll be going to church. Then she calls me like that morning when I couldn't even get out of bed and she goes, okay, but I can pick you up. Do you want me to come and get you? Yeah. And I'm realizing the disconnect from her knowing over 8 years, but seeing me accomplish or do so many things. She didn't understand what my not well was.
Yeah.
And so when I remember I told her.
You're not well was like, Mom, I can't walk.
Yeah. And I said to her, I said, Mom, no, I'm not moving. I couldn't even, I think 3 hours later, I couldn't even feed myself. Like the food was dropping. I couldn't turn my head. I couldn't move. And so when it hit her, I also gave her, I said, Mom, I want you to know that I've told people. And whoever you need to talk to, you're open to. Because it's selfish for me now to make her, and don't tell anybody. Like, I can't think about me. So I said, Mom, I need you to know that you can talk to, Auntie Carol. You can tell people. I've already reached out to those in my family by text. And I mean, I was so weak at that point. I had to call my sister in Toronto. And then she goes, I'll do the rest. Because I couldn't even text anymore. Like, my hands weren't working. And I said, there's a few people that really need to know because I have a child and I need someone to help my husband. Yeah. So my faith journey in that was, I remembered, let's say 2-3 days later, I took a marker. It's still on my wall at home. And I never write on my wall. We don't do that. But I took a permanent marker and I wrote on the wall, I said, as for me in this house, we will serve the Lord. Yeah. And that was like a bold faith statement because my husband didn't come with me at church at the time. My father didn't come to church and he lives with us. My daughter and I would go. But it was for me, I understood that there was nothing and no one that's going to carry us through this season. And so God was kind of saying, it's time to grow in your faith walk. Yeah. You can no longer be this,
you need me.
This church attendee, Sunday. I listen to
no
Joel
one else
Osteen.
Can do it for you besides for me.
Exactly.
So where are you now with the MS? And well, obviously you had 2 children.
Yes. So obviously not for everyone here. Yes.
Fibroids. Rest in peace, Isaiah and Andrew. But where are you in terms of the MS now? Like, how do you feel? How's your physical?
So I will say that journey was such an up and down journey because, as you mentioned, I had a dinner. I had women over. Come over. God is great. He's the best. Love him with all your heart. And then things got worse. Like, I had to do rehab for 8 months. And it got so bad that the medication just so affected me because I could no longer take what I was taking. I was doing treatments at a treatment center. Yeah. And it was heavy. It was
but I want to say that day. Sorry to go back to that day, but the day when we came to your house, and I just think about it now. It's because you were probably in pain, but you did not show it at all. Like, even though we cried and I think there was like 30 people there.
Yeah, there was. I have the list.
We laughed. We laughed a lot. We cried, but you did not show what you were going through at all. Like, at all.
And I think I was because I had actually took terms with it, that I'm not in control.
Yeah.
You have to get to that point when you tell yourself, I am not in control.
Control, yeah.
I'm a control freak. Or I should say, I was a control freak,
you was.
right? Because I can't say I am. I won't declare that.
We needed you.
I was a control freak, and I won't say am because I'm working out of that.
Yes, exactly.
And what God has done is in that season, He says, "Oh, really? Take the wheel." And I realized, God, I can't. So I wanted all of you guys to know that through the wedding that we had, through the children, through the parties we would do, the vacations, know what my husband, Paul, and I were walking through together. We were walking through this when nobody knew. And so I wanted to use that evening to encourage people to know that there is a God. You just have to lean into Him.
Yeah.
Even if you're not comfortable enough to share with your friends and family, share with Him how you feel. So to answer your question, I want to say, one, to God be the glory, the honor, and the praise. I am 6 years without medication.
Good.
I go to the gym 3 times a week and I box. My doctor's just like, I don't know what to say. He goes, all I can say to you is we're going to keep testing. We're going to keep doing MRIs. I have refused the medication. And he's like,
So no medication at all?
nothing. I take a vitamin D. They told me I need to maybe take some iron, but nothing. After 10 years of treatment that made me sick every single week, I had to take an injection weekly. The last 6 years when I had my second son, I had my second child, a son. After all that storm, he was born in 2019. So I was so sick in 2017. In 2019, the end of the rainbow, I had a wonderful, healthy baby boy. And he was just a gift after the storm. Like Sarah, I call her my daughter. She was my miracle gift that defied the odds that was said to me at 19. I had her in my 30s. And I say that was just faith in God. So she was my miracle faith baby. And I called Camden my gift. Like he came after the storm, but he came because my deep desire says, you know, God will give you the desires of your heart. It says, take delight in the Lord.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm very specific. So I will Google, text, email. What does delight mean?
Delight,
And it means enjoying His company, getting to know Him. And when I got to know Him, even in the worst of how I felt physically, I I could never have felt better spiritually.
Yeah.
And He gave me my son, and I was so thankful. And it was wanting to have a son. I had to talk to the doctors first.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, I see, because I can't take medication and get pregnant. And they're like, I don't know, we can take a break, but we'll see. And it was changing churches, changing life. I went to a new church that did things very differently than I was used to, very not traditional. They was like, where's the hymnals? We need to read the songs.
No.
And I learned there that they had all the songs in their heart where they should be.
Yeah.
And so we should read in the beginning, but then let's internalize it. And so when I change churches, I will have to make sure I say on this platform that you have here to encourage people who are watching. That was a most amazing scripture I ever heard. Because all our life we hear from people, oh, pray for me, I'm sick. Pray for so-and-so, they're not well. And so we kind of accept sickness as a part of life, and then we just pray for it. I don't know how to describe it, but I walked into that church because someone invited me one day, and I went. A very great friend, Earthma.
Yeah.
She said, you should come to this church one day. I walked in, and they said, can we pray for you? In the middle of the service, they stopped the service as I walked in. I could barely walk back then. I was wearing bandages under my clothes. Nobody knew I was doing like rehab and all that stuff. It was really difficult. And they stopped and they said to me, can we pray for you? And they read the scripture, Isaiah 53:5.
Yeah.
I could say up until that point, being honest, growing up in the church my whole life, I read the Bible, but never really read the Bible the way I learned to read it in this ministry. And then they said, He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon Him.
Yeah.
And with His stripes, we are healed.
Yeah.
So being specific, I'm Googling, I'm texting, I'm emailing. What does these words mean? I said, how could I be healed if I'm still going to rehab? I'm in pain. How am I healed?
Yeah.
And I realized that healing starts in the spiritual.
Yeah, for sure.
And then manifests itself in the physical.
100%.
And so when you say, where am I at today? I'm healed. I'm made whole. I have no problem with medical system. I see my doctors. I'm not telling people, don't take your medication. People call me all the time.
This is what works for her.
And I'll
Disclaimer.
and I tell them, I say to them, I was on medication for 10 years.
Yeah.
I said, I took every decision to God. after that. I was like, what should I do? Should I? And I tell my doctors now, if things ever change, we'll talk. But for now, I need to be a mother.
Okay.
I need to be alive. I need to be healthy. I've seen that taken away from my aunt when she was in a nursing home and not able to be there for her kids the way she wanted to be. So I said, God, this is my heart's desire. I'm taking delight in you. And so I'm asking you to help me be present in my children's life. Not just be a mom or just say I had children, to actually be present. So he's honored that. He's honored. He's honoring. He's honoring. The youngest one is 5, and he takes all the energy. God bless you.
Yeah. That's what you need. That's keeping you here and strong and
Here
healthy.
and strong. And let me tell you,
He's your gift.
Yeah, there you go.
My other question is, and this is narrowing down to the last 2, what are 3 things that you learned by keeping the faith?
3 things that I've learned from keeping the faith is 1, he will never disappoint you.
Okay.
He will never disappoint you. His ways are the best ways.
Okay.
And keeping the faith is why I'm on this chair today. Because it encourages those around you. It brings others to him. Yeah. He gets the glory from my faith. From your faith. Because there's a story in Luke chapter 17, verse 19, and he heals 10 lepers. And they walk away, they realize they're healed, and they're so grateful, and they keep walking. But one, it's a Samaritan, he turns back and goes to God and says, thank you. And God said, were there not 10 of you? Where are the other 9? And he said to him, go, your faith has made you whole. When I heard that, it's not just healing I'm after, it's wholeness. Yeah. So that scripture is why I've pushed myself in the area of teaching Sunday school, talking to children about God, talking to anyone that will email me or has questions about faith or the relationship, leading prayer line. I do a prayer line every Wednesday. It's been since 2020, so 4 years doing that.
And just to say, some people feel like wholeness is not attainable, but it is attainable, and it's attainable through faith. And that's the reason why what I would like, I would like to be whole. And people are like, what is being whole? Like, I don't think you ever do anything half full, Like you always do something whole. Like if you're going to do it, like this production is doing whole. You know what I'm saying? This is his, like doing anything, you have to do it whole for you to really see the glory or the fruition of your work, And that's why I think that's what I'm trying to aspire on these platforms, is just promoting people to feel their wholeness and how they do it. For you, it was faith, for the person maybe somewhere else was just, they have the faith, but then they don't have the physical things, like just certain things. So it's just that I feel that we all have to get to that place eventually, because when we do get to the wholeness, I think that's when we can really enjoy life. Because no matter what comes to you, you have that faith, And I always say, like, I would like to get to that faith, but I'm getting there.
But you know what it is? I always, sometimes people, I did a group this past week. We had a prayer meeting. Someone asked me to lead it, and I led it. And I ended up sharing my story. Not everybody knew it. And the ladies were like, but how do you know what to read? Where do you start? I said, guys, start anywhere. I said, I just had to find one thing, and I would just read it. If I read one verse, it was enough. But then in John chapter 1, it tells you, to all those who believe and receive. If I tried to give you this and you never opened your hand, you're never going to have it. Yeah. You're never going to have this. Like I could bring it to you. If you don't grab it, it's not going to be yours. So this faith walk in God is receiving what he's done for you, what he has for you. And that is what faith is. It's truly saying, I surrender, my hands are open, and what you've done for me already, I'm ready to receive. It's surrender. Yeah. Yeah. Which is hard. It's hard. It's not easy. And I'm still on that journey. I look at all I need to do. I say, God, please be with me. And
surrendering is a constant reminder, though. You have to constantly remind yourself, even when like simple little disagreements with your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, just leave this one, you take over, like it's not easy to do. But the more you do it is the more you learn how to master it, and the more your faith grows. So, and that's where I guess we're all striving to be. But my last question for you is, how has life so far shaped the person that you are today?
Wow. Life has shaped every aspect of who I am, because I'm constantly in inventory. I'm constantly looking to see what's going on inside of me. Okay. I'm in inventory of what's been placed there by people, bad thoughts, ideas, or society. versus what God created me with. And I'm constantly saying, okay, if he didn't put doubt in me, then it needs to go. You know, like stores do inventory seasonally and you make sure that things are in check.
Selling, what's
I'm
not
like,
selling?
what's not working for me? What's going against it? What's going against what I need? So if he's my creator and he's created me, you know, you have the whole package, what's going on. I say, okay, God, okay, you didn't put that there. Where did that come from? Childhood, comments, people? And I try to get that out of there, uproot it, remove it, and say, God, I want it gone.
Yeah.
And when I'm constantly doing inventory, I'm actually being able to see my deficit. But not getting overwhelmed by, oh my goodness, I'm in deficit. I'm in deficit because I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not who I used to be.
Yeah.
And when I take it to him, he helps me to get better in that area.
Yeah.
So if you don't recognize there's a problem, you're not going to change it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I still have lots of mouth issues that I constantly pray about. I'm like, God, please help me to guard my tongue. And if I didn't pray, I couldn't imagine who I would be, where I'd be, and if I'd still be here. Because death and life are in the power of the tongue.
So sometimes, like, yes, that mouth is really just, but they say a woman will tear down her house with her mouth. You know?
So I'm like, you know what? So it shaped
you have to
me.
learn how to control that.
That's, you know, and it tells, there's so many scriptures that talk to you about, you know, your tongue.
Yeah.
And so when you actually want to work on an area and you're doing that inventory, you're going to find the words, you're going to find the scriptures, and you're going to start to study them, read them, put them around your house.
Yeah.
Like my car becomes a worship place. I listen to sermons. I listen to music. Inventory means, who are my friends?
Yeah.
Who are the people that are around me? Am I in the right atmosphere? What am I watching on TV? What music am I listening to? What am I accepting?
Does it connect with the person that you're growing to be?
Exactly. That's inventory. Like you go out in your backyard, you have a beautiful garden, it's full of weeds, and every day you're like, oh, they should. There's a time you got to go out and start moving them if you want it to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
And so honestly, I would say what has helped me do this inventory is, one, learning about who he's created me, seeing my deficit, and then seeing how much he loves me.
Yeah.
And knowing how much he loves me makes me realize how much I don't love him in return. And that hurts me. And so that puts me more in a deeper response to say, God, what do I have to do now to love you better? Because I've realized that no degrees, no job promotion, no family member, no friends, no connections can do for me what I need in this life, nor for my children.
Yeah.
So that's what it has done to shape me. Faith has shaped me to see that all the things that we're going to require in this life are going to come from him.
Yeah.
Everything else, that is something temporary. But with him, he's already put eternity in all of our hearts. He said, I have placed eternity in the hearts of man. So I know that I'm not living this life for now. I'm living this life forever. And so I'm putting my treasures in heaven. I'm asking God to heal me. You know, heal me in my thoughts, because sometimes you may be okay physically, but you're not thinking well.
The mind is a battlefield.
There you go. There you go.
Next conversation.
Oh my goodness.
But the mind is a battlefield, and if we're not careful with our thoughts will become our actions, and our actions will become the consequences we have to face.
There you go. There's so many scriptures in Romans 5 and James 1 that really refer to those exact same statements, and I'm like, all right. You know, is this who you want to be?
Yeah.
And so I want to be the person that he's created me to be. And in order to be that person, I need to be with him because only he knows what I need to do to become that person.
Great. Thank you, Chantal.
Oh, I can't believe it's half an hour already.
But listen, I appreciate the conversation, and the reason, like, you are really one of the people that I look towards faith. I'm not going to try and say that my faith is so high up there, but I do have a strong faith. But my strong faith comes from watching people like you. So I really hope people could take back something from this conversation. And I thank you so much for coming and sitting with me. I will definitely have you on again. And the next one is going to be about the battlefield of the mind.
Battlefield, no problem. I could definitely prepare because I'm at war every day. And but I will say last thing, that if it's a war, right, and in war you need weapons. And so if we've been told in Ephesians 6, our weapon, you know, have a shield of faith, and the Bible is a sword of the Spirit, I find myself having to sharpen that sword, opening that Bible. It can't look crisp like I just got it. I got to make sure I'm diving into it to make sure that when my mind is going the wrong way, I am purifying my thoughts. I'm thinking the way he said. So I want to thank you for creating this platform, not just for you, but to help those that are watching, because we all need to look to someone or something to encourage us. And I just want to say, may God continue to bless you and strengthen you as you are pursuing this. And it's only going to get better when you continue to include God in it. So I love you.
Love you too.
God bless.
Thank you.
I got to give you a hug.
Chantal. Still looking like 24.
There you go. Oh my gosh, let's put those numbers in reverse.
24, 44. Hear me, 42.
There you go.
You're 42.
Yeah, it's going by fast.